Hey y'all, I'm Kim Stewart, host of Book Marketing Mania, where we talk about all the things to help you meet new readers and market your books online. Hey y'all, as Christian authors and writers, I know marketing can feel icky at times. Or, let's be real, it feels icky all the time. That is, when we put the focus on us and market ourselves. But what we've talked about from the very beginning of this podcast is that marketing is simply letting someone know you can help them. And what better way to do that than to collaborate with others who believe in your message and have an audience it will benefit. Proverbs 11:24 says, "Give freely and become more wealthy. Be stingy and lose everything." That's the NLT version, and I actually love the Message version as it relates to our author platforms. It says, "The world of the generous gets larger and larger. The world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller." And y'all, we want the message of our books to go large and reach all the women God meant it for, right? So today I want to share 7 ways to market your book through collaborations so that you can reach readers you wouldn't otherwise be able to. Are y'all ready? Let's get to it. Okay, y'all. Number 1, email list. Collaborate with another author or blogger and share each other's lead magnets and books with your email list. We know the power of an email list is that something we own versus social media that we don't own. And the more time you spend building an engaged email list, the more fruitful it is to this collaboration. So think of a few people who are serving your target audience today, subscribe to their emails to get a gist of how they communicate with their subscribers, and propose a swap where you'll collaborate and share each other's lead magnet or book with your list whenever the time is right. I love when my favorite authors share resources that they believe in, and those happen to come into my inbox, and I'm so anxious to take advantage of them and sign up for them or purchase them. Number 2, podcast guesting. If you've been listening for a while, you know this is my favorite way to market your book long before and long after your release date. And I've been blown away by the feedback from my clients who say the return on the relationships with the podcast host far exceeds the return on book sales. Guesting on podcast allows you and the host to collaborate and deliver incredible value for the listeners. Throughout a 30 to 40 minute interview, you've not only built know, like, and trust with the listeners who are your target readers, but you also build it with the host, and so many opportunities can come out of this one collaboration. So collaborate with a podcast host to share your message with their audience. Number 3, podcast hosting. Y'all know I love hosting this podcast and getting your feedback on each episode, or I wouldn't still be here 1 year later. As a host, you are in the driver's seat for powerful collaborations with the guests you bring on the show. You could do a special series around your book topic and bring on guests for those specific topics. You could bring on some of your readers. Maybe you could have a panel discussion. And to tack on to number 2, podcast guesting. As a podcast host, you have a leg up over other authors pitching themselves to guest on podcast because you already know how to record a podcast episode. You have the equipment and you know how to deliver value to the listeners. So as a host, you could collaborate with another host and pitch a guest swap with another host, and you could guest on each other's shows. Or you could record one episode to air on both shows. Also, you could swap ads on each other's shows, whether that be a podcast trailer or an ad for your book or service. There's so many ways to collaborate as podcast hosts to market your books. Number 4, guest posting. You can collaborate with bloggers and write a guest post for someone else's blog or contribute an article to a media publication like a website or a magazine. Sometimes this can simply be repurposing popular content you've written, or sometimes it's fresh content exclusive to that site. And similar to podcast guesting, think of how you can collaborate with another blogger or author, or even the media, and provide value to their audience in written form. Or perhaps your guest post is in video form, if that's what you're more comfortable with. And again, similar to podcast hosting and guesting, you could collaborate and swap content on each other's blogs. Number 5, social media. Collaborate with a fellow author or blogger by simply sharing each other's content with your followers. Be intentional about it, though. Make sure it's a fit for your followers. You could do a live video together or do a social takeover of each other's accounts. offer to do a training in each other's Facebook group or in their private audio rooms. Y'all, this is getting to be so popular on social right now. I know Facebook had tested out sharing podcast, episodes on there directly, but I have a feeling they're going to come out with, just the more of the audio platform like Clubhouse is doing. And I know Twitter's testing it out with Spaces. I know LinkedIn is looking into some things like that. So keep your eyes out if you prefer to share things through audio form, and you could do it on social. But whatever you do with social media, have fun with it. Because remember, the goal is being social with other people's audiences when you're collaborating. So if you're on Instagram, there's a lot of fun collaborations going on right now where people are remixing the reels. And it would be so great to do one, reading each other's books. How cool would that be? Number 6, write together. Collaborate with a fellow author by co-authoring a book, writing chapters in someone else's book, creating an anthology book, and invite others to write chapters for you. Because when you're ready to market your book, you'll get twice the reach at least, or even way more, depending on how many authors are involved. Number 7, host an online summit. These online conferences, y'all, are so fun and have exploded since COVID started, if you haven't noticed. I love them so much because you can attend from home without makeup or having to dress up. Thank you, Lord. You can host one around a specific topic, bonus points, if it's around the topic of your book, of course, and collaborate with others by inviting them to be guest speakers. You can also co-host a summit with somebody else. Summits can be video where you watch the sessions, or just audio where you can listen on the go, or a combination of both, which I love. And again, by collaborating with guest speakers, your message goes out way farther than you could reach alone as your guests share the event on their own platforms. So y'all, let's recap these 7 ways to market your book through collaborations. And then I want to give you a sneak peek into something really cool going on next week to help you with this. Number 1, email list. Number 2, podcast guesting. Number 3, podcast hosting. Number 4, guest posting. Number 5, social media. Number 6, write together. Number 7, host an online summit. And speaking of online summits, if you're listening to this episode the week it airs, I want to share with you an opportunity to learn how to put some of these ideas for marketing your books through collaborations into action. Join me at the free Kingdom Writers Conference starting Monday, September 12th. It's 5 days full of teaching and implementation and prizes. And you can grab your free ticket at kimstewartmarketing.com/writers. And I'll also drop that link here in your podcast player. So if you haven't attended an online conference or summit before, you'll register for free and you'll receive a daily email with the agenda and link to join and watch the presentations. And the replays are typically available for 24 hours, but I know Shelley, who's hosting the Kingdom Writers Conference, is leaving each presentation day up for 48 hours for you to watch. Yay! And if you're like, holy cow, I got a busy week next week and may not get through the whole week of presentations before they expire, well, good news. That's what an all access pass is for. It gives you lifetime access to all the presentations and a whole bunch of bonus trainings. So back to our 7 ways to market your book through collaborations. So think about if you want to collaborate by sharing in an email list, your stuff with somebody else's email list and their stuff with yours. Here's some really cool things going on in the conference next week. Sandra Dalton Smith, who you guys have heard here on the podcast, she's going to be talking about growing your email list using media interviews, which is so fun. And then you also get access to her Author Platform Boost course for free. Yay! Then if you were to purchase the All Access Pass, you obviously would have access to Sandra's presentation forever, but you also get access to a special module in her Be Your Own Publicist course all about marketing evangelism. And if y'all heard her here on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, she just kind of barely touched on that. So I myself am anxious to dive into that training. Then also another speaker is Amanda Storrs, and she's speaking on growing your email list using Instagram. Plus, when you sign up for your free ticket, you'll get Amanda's freebie, which is 120 email topic ideas, along with a calendar to plan out your content for your subscribers that will nurture them, inform them, entertain them, and sell them. And y'all, I just love some of these topic ideas. I may have to pull out a few and get her permission to share them on the podcast in a future episode because there's some that'll be really, really good for authors. Then if you want to collaborate through podcast guesting, of course, my favorite thing ever, right, y'all? I am so blessed to be able to speak on Monday about common mistakes authors make when pitching podcasts and, of course, how to fix them. And also what's super fun about Shelley Summit is she has a bingo card for you, and they're playing bingo all week, and you get to win prizes. And one of the prizes I donated was a podcast pitching strategy session. So I hope y'all play and one of you win. Then if you purchase the All Access Pass, I've also got a training on creating your podcast pitching strategy. Plus, one of the other speakers is Susan Neal, and in the All Access Pass, you can get her training on how to book a podcast tour, y'all. She's a writing coach and CEO of the Christian Indie Publishing Association, and I can't wait to see what's all in there for booking a podcast tour, because I know that is something everyone's interested in, especially at book release time. Then another favorite thing I saw in the All Access Pass, and Shay Bynes is also another speaker, but she gave a training in the All Access Pass. It's called 7 Key Things Authors Do That Make Me Excited to Book Them on My Podcast. Oh my gosh, y'all. She hosts the Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur, one of my favorite podcasts. And I know my clients and students will be like, oh yeah, she's talking Kim's love language here. And the training, I have already watched this one. It's so good for you to hear from a podcast host of a super popular podcast what things make her say yes and want to book guests on her podcast. So again, that's included in the All Access Pass. Then if you want to collaborate through social media, there's a really cool topic being presented next week by Ruth Snyder, and it's collaborating through social audio. So I haven't really been on Clubhouse in a while, but apparently now, like I think I had mentioned it before, Twitter has opened up Twitter Spaces, which is similar to Clubhouse. And I'm sure Facebook will be doing something similar, and LinkedIn will follow as well. So I can't wait to learn more about this. So she has a presentation on it. Plus you get a free training for her on Twitter Spaces Basics, just to kind of give you an overview of what that's all about. So I'm super excited about that. Then also included in the All Access Pass for social media is Shelley, the host of the conference, has a mini marketing messages kit, and it gives you all these conversation starters that would be great to post on social. But I was looking at them, also think they'd be great to put in your email to your subscribers. And she kind of divides them out and talks about which ones are motivational, which ones are for education, which ones are appropriate when you're making an offer, and which ones would be good for entertaining your subscribers. So again, that's in the All Access Pass. Then if you want to collaborate through writing together with a fellow author, there's 4 different presentations next week. Again, this is all part of your free ticket, and it's all about collaborating together and writing multi-author and anthology books. I'm so excited to hear about that, because some of my favorite authors have come together and co-authored books, and I can't wait to see what goes into all that and how you could maybe approach some fellow authors to do it with you. Then if you wanted to collaborate by hosting a summit, like you'll see it behind the scenes. You'll see what Shelley's done next week if you would get your free ticket and attend the summit. But also what would be really cool, Shelley has it where you're going to watch the videos, but you can also, in the All Access Pass, you get an access to her private podcast. So if you're like, I ain't got time to watch videos, I just want to listen on my phone on the go whenever I want, you get that. But when you're thinking about hosting a summit, you can also learn about how to host just an audio-only summit. And one of the guest speakers next week you'll learn from is Wendy Breakstone, and she's the founder of CEO Simple, and she is talking on launching and promoting your book with a micro audio summit. And I don't know anything about that, but I'm so excited to learn from her. Plus, if you enjoy that and you're thinking, this is for me, I want to set up an audio summit, then if you purchase the All Access Pass, she has a training called Lurkers to Leads Micro Audio Summit Planning Blueprint. So she helps you put it all together, y'all. And without even seeing the training, there's so many ideas floating around in my mind about how you could use this to market your book. So I'm super excited. Plus, there's tons of trainings on book signing parties, getting clarity from your book idea all the way to your launch team, selling books through speaking events, networking at conferences, and more. Wowzers, y'all. I'm just blown away by all the stuff that Shelley put into this conference. And yes, of course, I will tell you, I am an affiliate for the All Access Pass because, as you heard, it's going to be amazing. But remember, registration for the 5-day conference itself that's going on next week is free. So I don't want y'all to miss out. And I hope you'll join me there and get lots of value to help you market your book through collaborations. And again, you can check out all the links here in your podcast player or head to kimstewartmarketing.com/writers. Y'all, that's all for today. And I'll see you here next week to help you market your book one podcast at a time. Thanks for tuning in.